In 1959, at the rundown El Royale Hotel straddling the California-Nevada border, Felix O'Kelly pries up the floorboards in his room and hides a bag of stolen money. Moments later, his accomplice bursts in and shoots him dead, double-crossing him in a botched heist. 10 years later, in 1969, the once glamorous El Royale stands deserted, its gambling license long revoked. 4 strangers arrive: Catholic priest Daniel Flynn, a robber masquerading as a priest; singer Darlene Sweet; salesman Dwight Broadbeck, an undercover FBI agent posing as a home supplies salesman; and sarcastic Emily Summerspring. They meet the hotel's only employee, Miles Miller, a young Vietnam vet who served as a sniper who checks them in. Miles explains the hotel's quirks. Rooms on the California side cost $1 more. Liquor does not serve on the Nevada side due to state laws, and coffee runs 25 cents a cup. Broadbeck insists on the honeymoon suite and chats about the place's decline. Flynn claims he is from Bloomington, Indiana. Sweet mentions she is practicing for a Reno audition. Emily demands her room without small talk. As the guests settle in, Miles eyes them warily from the empty lobby. Up in the honeymoon suite, Broadbeck, actually FBI agent Seymour Laramie Sullivan, searches for his agency's hidden surveillance gear. He slips downstairs, swipes the master key from reception, and uncovers a secret passageway behind a wall panel. It leads to a dimly lit corridor lined with one-way mirrors peering into every guest room, plus a clunky 16mm film camera setup for recording secrets. Through the mirrors, Sullivan watches Sweet in her room belting out soulful practice runs of her songs. In Fling's room, the priest rummages under the floorboards, digging frantically but finding nothing. Then, in Emily's room, Sullivan spots something alarming. Emily drags a bound teenage girl from her car's trunk and ties her to a chair, gagging her amid muffled protests. Sullivan rushes to the parking lot payphone and calls FBI Director J. Edgar Hoover. He reports the kidnapping he is witnessing, but Hoover snaps at him to stick to the mission, retrieve the illegal bugs the FBI planted years ago, and ignore the rest. When Sullivan warns the op is blown, Hoover orders him to trap the guests by disabling their vehicles. Sullivan complies, slashing tires and yanking wires under the hoods. A quick flashback cuts to Sweet's harsh past. In a smoky recording studio, a producer berates her for flubbing notes during a chorus session. "Mess up again," he sneers, "and you'll end up crooning in some Nevada dive." Back at the hotel, Flynn invites Sweet to dinner in the faded ballroom, candles flickering on dusty tables. She shares her Reno audition nerves. He confesses his memory is fading. As he fetches drinks, she spots him slipping powder into her glass. Frightened but quick, Sweet smashes a bottle over his head, knocking him cold. Later, Miles stumbles upon Flynn's unconscious form and revives him with smelling salts. The kid blurts he needs confession for his war sins, but Flynn brushes him off. Searching for the missing master key, Miles leads Flynn into the secret corridor. Spilling his own dark secrets, he filmed illicit guest encounters on orders from shady higher-ups. Flynn forces Miles to hand over the film. Flynn pockets it and slips away to study its contents. Defying Hoover's orders, Sullivan creeps toward Emily's room to free the hostage. He bursts in, gun drawn, but Emily, fierce and unyielding, grabs a shotgun from under her bed and blasts him at point-blank range. Sullivan crumples dead, blood pooling on the carpet. Through the shattered one-way mirror, shards exploding inwards, Miles takes a grazing bullet to the leg and slumps wounded in the corridor. Sweet, drawn by the gunshot, peeks from her room and sees the chaos. Panicked, she bolts to her car, but Flynn intercepts her in the lot, rain-soaking them both. He drops the priest act. He's Donald "Doc" O'Kelly, a paroled bank robber haunted by a decade-old heist gone wrong. His brother Felix stashed their score under the El Royale's floorboards before an accomplice murdered him. Doc's addled brain can't pinpoint the room, so he's been searching incognito. He tried drugging Sweet to raid hers. Desperate and cornered, they strike a deal. Split the cash 50-50. In the lobby, Emily and the girl, her younger sister, Rose, drag the limping Miles from the corridor and tie him up. Emily demands answers about the mirrors. Miles stammers the truth. The hotel is a voyeur's den wired for blackmail. Emily confesses she yanked Rose from the grip of Billy Lee, a magnetic cult leader behind Malibu's grisly murders. But Rose, brainwashed and tearful, admits she's already phoned Billy, begging him to come get her. As Doc and Sweet load the cash bag into Sweet's car, Doc, finally remembering the exact floorboard in his old room, headlights pierce the night. Billy Lee rolls up. They swarm the lobby, rounding up Emily, Rose, Miles, Doc, and Sweet at gunpoint. Billy, towering and charismatic with a southern drawl, toys with them like prey. A flashback interrupts. In a sun-drenched compound, Billy preaches twisted gospel to his followers, forcing choices on the weak. He pits Rose against another girl in a brutal fistfight. The winner gets his favor for the night. Emily watches from the shadows, helpless rage. In the present, Billy paces the lobby, prying stories from his captives. Rose clings to him adoringly. He uncovers the politician's film in Doc's pocket and grins. It's worth more than any heist dude. To pass time, Billy invents a deadly game, Russian roulette with room colors. Emily draws the short straw, chooses wrong, and Billy executes her with a single shot to the head. Tension boils as Billy readies another round. Doc lunges at him in a blur of fury, tackling the giant to the floor. Chaos erupts. One cultist knocks over a lamp, igniting spilled liquor. Flames lick up the velvet curtains, spreading fast through the dry lobby. Amid the brawl, Miles, bleeding but unbroken, confesses to Sweet he's a Vietnam sniper who tallied 123 kills, ghosts that never leave. Sweet, dodging bullets, urges him to fight back. Miles grabs a fallen rifle, his hands steady from old muscle memory. He picks off the cultists one by one with cold precision. Billy charges him, Miles fires, ending the leader with a chest shot. Billy crumples, his spell broken. Rose, wild-eyed in grief, snatches a knife and plunges it into Miles's gut. Doc spins and shoots her dead before she can strike again. Miles collapses, gasping as the fire roars closer. Sweet kneels by him, tears streaming, and begs Doc, still in his bloodied priest collar, to grant absolution for the kid's war burdens. Doc, voice steady, murmurs the rites, easing Miles's final breath. Doc and Sweet snatch the money bag from the flame's edge. Sweet hurls the incriminating film into the blaze. Alarms wail as they race to Sweet's car, the only one still running, and peel out into the night, the El Royale engulfed behind them.
Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this, hit subscribe and tap the bell icon so you don't miss our next video. See you next time.